Captain Marvel is the 21st film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's also Marvel's first female-led film, starring Brie Larson as the title character, and with Samuel L. Jackson returning to his character of Nick Fury, with the help of some de-aging effects. Captain Marvel has been surrounded in controversy, with a lot of people review bombing the Rotten Tomatoes site, with audience members saying they did not want to see this film, and Rotten Tomatoes had to answer with shutting down that aspect of their website. Further controversy has come from the lead, Brie Larson, in talking a lot about diversity and feminism surrounding this film, which has caused a lot of uproar. The film currently sits at 79% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 52% audience score, making it the first Rotten reviewed audience film for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But in this video, I'm not going to talk about the controversy or anything like that, and I'm just going to give an honest review of the film, spoiler free. I don't usually do reviews on this channel. I used to, and I've kind of moved away from them. So how my reviews work, I go through all the aspects I liked, talk about some of the bad aspects, and then just summarize at the end. So let's just jump in. Okay, so overall, I really enjoyed this video. I didn't have actually very high hopes for Captain Marvel. The trailers I thought looked pretty bad. There was one trailer I did like, and that was only a 30-second TV spot. They seemed to characterize it as Captain Marvel as quite a stoic character, didn't really smile, just always had a grimace on her face, which was really disappointing as that doesn't really fit the Marvel universe. The lead characters are always quite quippy, quite funny, so I was a little worried. This wasn't the case though, and Brie Larson is incredibly charming as Captain Marvel, and I really enjoyed her performance. The film was quite fun and fits very neatly into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Is it the best Marvel film? No. Is it the worst? No. Sits somewhere around the middle. I had fun with it, I had a good time. I won't go to the cinema to see it again, but I'll definitely watch it again when it's on TV. So I think for all Marvel fans, they will enjoy this film, and I think the audience score again is just online trolls review bombing the film. But let's talk about some aspects I really liked, and then let's get into the bad aspects. Okay, so as I first of all mentioned, the film's a bloody good time. I really enjoyed it, and I was able to just escape into the film, which is what I go for Marvel films, just a bit of escapism, and just lose myself in the wondrous world that Marvel creates for you. Samuel L. Jackson and Brie Larson are very good in the film. I really enjoyed both performances, and seeing a young Nick Fury was really cool to see. It's interesting to see how he became the man he was. There was an aspect I didn't really like, and this is a bit of a spoiler. Obviously we see how he loses his eye. I didn't really like how he lost it, but I guess it kind of fits his character in how he explains how he lost it. It just wasn't quite for me. Brie Larson I found very charming and really likeable in this role. I think she really makes it her own. People are saying she barely smiles and is very straight-faced. I don't know what film they are watching, because that was not the film I watched. She starts the film with making a joke. She is kind of cocky, but I guess you would be if you were so powerful like her. But she comes across as quite likeable. She has some really good lines, she has some good jokes, she had me smiling throughout, and I think people that don't think she was good in this film just simply don't like her, but I thought she had a lot to do, and she did very well with the material that was given to her. I think she definitely could have been written better, but I like the character of Captain Marvel, and I want to see more of her, and I want to see more of Brie Larson playing her. Samuel L. Jackson's de-aging is amazing. It seamlessly works into the film. I never noticed it, which is pretty incredible for such a heavy CGI effect that at some points you would kind of notice it, but as the film went on, I just thought that's how Samuel L. Jackson looked. So it is a fantastic effect, and it shows Marvel are really doing well with this effect after Michael Douglas and various other characters they've used this on. They're really starting to work out how to use this technology. I think there's good foundations set for the character. Whilst I previously mentioned not a whole load is explored with Carol Danvers, but it has opened up a lot more stories to be told. And I think a great trilogy could be made with Captain Marvel, and I'm really interested in seeing where this character goes from here. This film is very solid. It sets excellent foundations for the character and works the character's backstory very well into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and definitely expands the lore of the Cinematic Universe without breaking it. You find that with Cinematic Universes, they bring in certain aspects and the timeline does not make any sense. X-Men and DC being key examples. Now there are some aspects that have been added that ask a few questions, but these can be explained if you kind of look deep enough. But I think the film has set the character up excellently. Brie Larson was fantastic in the role. I think with a better writer she could be even better, but I really liked Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson, and had a lot of fun. Okay, so now we get on to the more interesting aspect of this review, what's wrong with the film and what I didn't really like. So a major problem of Captain Marvel, and it's been said from the trailers, is the colour grading and general cinematography of the film. It's very bland, very flat. This is particularly highlighted in the train chase scene. I think this scene could have been a great moment to put some colour, some energy in to the actual scene, but doesn't happen. There's a nice little Stan Lee cameo in this scene, but the overall colour of this scene just seems to be concrete. It's a very dull scene and it's quite flat, and it should be a very exciting part of the film. The only injection of some colour is near the end with Captain Marvel flying about, but this is still minimal. Everything is quite flat, quite bland, and this has been a problem for a lot of Marvel films, and recently they have addressed the problem but seem to have gone back with this film. The film doesn't appear to have much creative identity either, with it being a more paint-by-numbers origin story for Marvel, following the basic Marvel formula, which recent Marvel films have also strayed from. It seems like Marvel just wanted to play it safe with this film, being obviously a female-led superhero film, the first for the studio, so they probably just said, let's just play this one safe and then go a bit more creative in the next one and see how fans react to this one. The problem is the directors don't appear to have much creative control and aren't able to put much of a stamp on the film when compared to, say, the Russos or Taika Waititi. This film follows more the Ant-Man or Doctor Strange route of being a safe Marvel film. It does help to place it very neatly in the universe, but the problem is there isn't much identity to this film, which is a shame because Marvel recently have been hiring a lot more independent directors who have done fantastic things and have a lot of creative ideas. The directors of this film are Anna Boda and Ryan Fleck, who did Half Nelson, which is a fantastic film I really recommend, and Mississippi Grind starring Ryan Reynolds, which is also a fantastic film. It just seems like Marvel got these two in and basically took control anyway, which is a massive shame. There's not a whole load of emotion in this film either. I don't feel like Captain Marvel learns much about her character near the end of the film. She's still the same basic person. She starts off quite cocky and ends the film as quite cocky. It's more of a buddy cop film with her and Nick Fury going along this journey trying to solve what's going on between the Kree and the Skrulls. She personally doesn't learn anything about herself. She learns a little bit about her past, but she's not learning much about her character and how her emotions affect her. The problem is a lot of characters will always tell her not to get so emotional, but that doesn't really affect the film in much way, and it doesn't really change her in any way. She still seems like the same basic person. But this is something that could be looked into in further films, and hopefully they will build upon this aspect. So there's my thoughts on Captain Marvel. I think it's a good film, it's a solid film. It's not my favourite, but it's not the worst Marvel film. I quite enjoyed it, and I think a lot of Marvel fans will as well. It's definitely not going to be many people's favourite Marvel film, but it is yet another solid Marvel Studios film. I do think though there is a lot of work to go into the character of Captain Marvel, and they do need to build upon her a little bit more and go more into her character and what actually makes her tick. This will probably be looked into in further films, as I previously mentioned, and also what I'd like to see is more of the Skrulls. I want to see what are the Skrulls up to, because they say they can do these incredible things, they can match your powers, but we don't see much of that in the film. We see them shapeshift, which is really cool, but we don't see much of them mimicking powers, which is something I'd like to see. Hopefully in the future the MCU will adapt the Skrull invasion storyline, which sees the Skrulls come down to Earth and begin to invade and mimic our biggest heroes. That would be really interesting to see. Perhaps Marvel will go this way, but I'm not sure with how they leave the Skrulls at the end of Captain Marvel. But overall, I really enjoyed Captain Marvel. It's a really fun time. It's a really solid Marvel film. I'm really looking forward to seeing her in Endgame and for her story to be told over further films. There's definitely some things to improve on, but hopefully the future films will look into the problems this current film has. But it's a film you should definitely go and see if you're a big superhero fan or just a fan of films in general. That's my review, and thank you for watching.